Hi, everyone. My name is Jan.
I'm Steph.
And this is Bushwick Famous, a critical podcast on the music industry. Today's topic is not necessarily a lighthearted, easygoing one, just to preface.
The last one was legal shit. Now we're leading in like this. God, Jan.
I just want to say, today I really want to talk about something that I worked on for my thesis and my master's degree, which is gender inequality in the music industry.
They're so fancy. They have a master's degree.
No, thank you.
You're so smart. You're so smart and pretty.
Oh. Anyway. Anyways, I do also want to say that within this is such a broad and heavy topic of conversation. The intention is really just kind of touching on the surface of the matter. Sure. And the three key areas I want to focus on, and I definitely want to talk about just our personal experiences in the local industry. But the three kind of topics are from an artist perspective, the music industry, the business side of the industry specifically, and then local scene, our thoughts and comments.
Question.
Yeah.
This probably varies quite a lot by like subgenre too, right?
Absolutely.
So did your thesis focus on like rock? Were you already kind of in there, or was it more general?
So I didn't focus on one particular genre. It was kind of an introduction on the overall scale of inequality within artists as a whole, because there's a lot of general discrepancies when it comes to representation across all genres.
Yep.
But I did delve into a couple other genres, primarily country music, interestingly enough, because
I'm interested to hear about that. Okay.
I didn't really write it into this episode, but we can honestly, if this is something of interest, we can talk about on another episode.
We could do a whole episode about country music.
Absolutely.
Because much like the Christian rock industry, it's a huge part of the industry financially, and it's almost totally sequestered from our version of the music industry.
100%.
Which is fascinating to me.
Yeah. So let us know if it's something that you would be interested in talking about and us talking about, but also we probably will regardless.
Yeah, don't tell us. We'll do what we want.
But also, before we dive in, to just further contextualize why this is an important conversation for us specifically, I figured we would do a little introduction on our identities, whatever. I'll go first as an example. My name is Jan, obviously.
That was like a rap intro. My name is Jan. Wait, I'm sorry.
I use they, them, or he, him pronouns, and I identify as non-binary or genderqueer. And to be politically correct, I identify as pansexual, but in the non-political correct terminology, I'm just gay as fuck. And that is my intro. How would you like to introduce yourself?
This is going to sound weird, but I was thinking about how you identified the other day, because I was like, Jan is queer, obviously, but you don't date men, but you also wouldn't identify as a lesbian. So I was like, I wonder what Jan does identify as. And like, I know a lot of like non-binary people who don't date men and like identify as pan or bi or lesbian. Like it's a huge nebulous cloud thing.
100%.
No judgment on anyone's ID here. So I'm Steph. I am bisexual. I feel like I'm back in an AA meeting.
I know, I'm sorry.
I'm Steph and I'm a bisexual. Hi, Steph. I jokingly call myself a 90-10 bisexual because I feel like I tend to go for people in like waves. And I have a lot of thoughts on that aspect of my identity because, like, I do have a lot of privilege in that, and I'm very aware of it. And I'm pretty like straight present. Like in Bushwick, you could probably pick me out, but I'm like pretty straight presenting, to most people. Like other queer people can usually spot me, but it's it's kind of a coin flip. And I've only ever been called slurs when I was with a girlfriend, right? Like that doesn't happen when I'm with a man, and like. Do men fetishize bisexuality? Sure, absolutely, don't get me wrong. But that just feels like it's on such a different level than like the rank homophobia I've experienced walking with ex-girlfriends. I've also, another element of my thing is I've been out since I was like 14, which is half of my life now. I've been out for a really, really long time. I've been comfortable with that aspect of my identity for a really long time. I was raised by very liberal parents who were like, I believe when I came out to my mom, we were in the car and I said it while we were like going through an intersection. And she was like, okay, honey, like, what do you want for dinner?
I love
like
that.
we had a lot of gay family friends, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So I never I didn't really struggle with it all that much. I was president of our GSA in high school because by my junior year, everyone in it had graduated. And I was president by default.
Oh.
And the advisor was like, well, maybe these younger kids don't feel like they need a GSA. And I was like, I feel like that's not true. And we went around and actually went to like the club fairs and stuff. And of course, I reassembled the GSA.
Amazing.
I'm so good at marketing.
You are.
But yeah, that's my thing. I'm cis. You know, I use she, her pronouns. I feel like some of the recent transphobia gets directed at cis women as well, who are like tall or have deep voices or in other ways gender non-conforming. That is not like an aspect of my gender identity, but it's like a gender thing that is on my mind a fair amount. I have a great deal of solidarity for my trans sisters and all, you know, siblings, obviously. But we share similar struggles, especially with finding shoes.
Fair enough.
I'm a women's 10, man. They're sold out all the time.
I understand. Yeah.
And pants. Oh my God.
Pants are so difficult.
That's just
to
a tall
shop for.
people thing.
It
I say
really
that.
is.
I'm taller than most trans women. I'm 5'11". Like, I wear almost exclusively men's pants. We've gotten so off topic now. I'm so sorry.
It's totally fine.
That's my gender. I wear men's pants.
Anyways, now that we've kind of laid the ground as to why this
Have
is...
we?
I don't know.
Now that we've laid the ground as to why we are qualified to talk about
Exactly.
this. Yeah, there we go.
Exactly. Let's dive in. Okay. So as we know from personal experience, but hopefully as all of you know, gender inequality is not just an issue within the music industry. It's a global, international, industry-wide issue.
I am shocked and horrified to hear this.
I know. And we've obviously personally dealt with the effects of gender inequality in our respective fields of work. While it's pretty self-explanatory, just so we're on the same page of the definition of gender inequality, it is the difference in representation, access to resources, rights, opportunities, and treatment of an individual based on their gender.
Okay.
Within the music industry, this is seen in different hiring opportunities and corporate settings. In the music production realm especially, women are often overlooked for studio work. And amongst artists, this is seen in their recognition in awards, festival bookings, and even playlisting on digital service providers, which are Spotify, Apple Music. It's everywhere you stream
Thank you for
your music.
redefining that for me, because our first episode I made you define it.
Yeah, and moving forward, I'm just going to refer to them as DSPs
Yes.
for brevity.
I'm a blue-collar worker.
Anyways, when the conversation of gender inequality in the music industry comes up, it's oftentimes dismissed, or the response is like, but there are so many women pop stars who are charting, like Lady Gaga, Beyonce, and we have like Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan, Olivia Rodrigo, Olivia Dean, all these women in pop music. What do you mean? Like, isn't this just a big myth?
I feel like the rock equivalent of that is we have a female lead singer.
Exactly.
Great, so does everybody else. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, in reality, there's far more disparity, even in the major leagues, than a lot of people are led to believe. This may not be the most exciting part, but I'm going to delve into
hit
some
me with the
data.
statistics. I love statistics.
Yeah.
I'm a stats nerd. That's why we started this podcast.
too.
I love data.
I do too.
I'm going to polish my glasses like a real nerd.
So USC Annenberg, they publish an annual report on gender and race across popular songs. They started this series of reports in 2012, and the latest is 2025. They analyzed the Grammy nominations in select categories and focus on the Billboard Hot 100 list.
Okay.
Source their data from like Billboard and yearly census reports, as well as sourcing information from Apple Music and Tidal and the Grammy website and their list of nominees and whatnot. So they have an entire team of people that analyze all this data. And it's also important to note that there's a lot of nuance that comes with creating data points from people's identities and race, gender, sexuality. It's not as easy of a numerical statistic as it is made to believe, or just like theoretically, you know, there's a lot more that goes into creating these reports than just like plucking information and data points.
You know, I think if I had continued on with my previous like psychological researcher career, because I was never going to be a therapist, but I loved stats. I worked at in a faculty lab. I feel like that's probably where I would have ended up somehow. You know what I mean? Like just doing stats on music all day. I would have been very happy doing that. It's
really interesting.
Maybe I shouldn't have dropped out of NYU. You got a time machine, Jan?
Oh God, I wish. Anyways, in each of these reports, they compare to previous years, leading all the way back to 2012. And it's really depressing to look at the numbers of just how little has changed over it's been over a decade. It's over
13 years. Yeah.
So from USC Annenberg's team, they say this fraction of the industry is seen by the broadest array of consumers. For this reason, it's important to evaluate this area of music to identify barriers that prevent women and people of color from sitting within the same space as their white male counterparts. So this is specifically referring to why they're focusing on the top 100.
Sure, popular
list.
culture.
Yeah.
Unlike like rock music. Yeah, which is like an increasingly dwindling subculture.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe not dwindling, but small.
It's definitely, small. Just for fun, what do you think the percentage of women made up the Billboard Hot 100 list in 2025?
Women like solo artists, performers?
Both. Solo artists, performers, and bands. They kind of
they're lumping that, like singers, basically. Yes. We're talking vocalists.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I'm going to guess too high for vocalists, because I would guess that that's fairly, I don't know, 25%.
It's actually more than that.
Oh, hey.
So,
well, my gut was 50, and then I was like oh, way too high.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, it's not 50. It's actually 36.1%.
Okay, so about a third.
About a third.
Right.
And that is wildly disproportionate to the U.S. population, which is 50.5% women. This is according to the U.S. Census Bureau. So comprising only a third of the U.S. popular charts is truly mind-boggling, because generally when we do think of pop stars, so many amazing women do come to mind.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that the percentage of songwriters and producers that identify as women have declined over the past 2 years.
Really? 2 years?
Really? For songwriters, this is primarily represented by the decline of white women writers. The percentage of women of color remained the same, interestingly.
That's good.
There has also been no change in the percentage of women producers over time. Fewer than 5% of all producers in 2025 were women, and only 3 women of color received producing credits in 2024.
3?
Yeah, on the Billboard Top 100 list.
So that's 100 for the year. 3 of those had women of color producing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really wild.
Really wild.
And there has been so much advocacy and so many efforts to increase these numbers, but there's just been so little change.
Producing's really bad too. It's bad enough that I knew about that.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at a list of some examples from the Top 100 list from Billboard. I don't have their subscription. Of course, everything's behind a paywall
right now. Oh my God,
it's
so expensive.
But I can see the top 5.
So that's what we're working with
That's
today.
what we're going to work with today. First up, again, this is for 2025. First up, of course, is Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars's collab Die With a Smile. If I'm assuming you've heard it. If not, by choice, definitely forced to listen to it. It's been played everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's been playlisted a bunch. It's on every single radio. You'll hear it at local cafes, bars, wherever. And we'll make sure to tag it in this episode too, so you can stream it if you're not familiar with it. So looking at the writing credits for that song, there are 5 songwriting credits: Bruno Mars, Lady Gaga, Demille, James Fauntleroy, Andrew Watt. Lady Gaga is the only woman in the songwriting side of things. And similarly on the production side, there are 4 producers: Bruno Mars, Lady Gaga, Demille, and Andrew Watt. So again, Lady Gaga, she's involved in the songwriting and production, and then there's a broader team of men involved too. Next on the list, we have Kendrick Lamar and SZA's collab, Luther. 2 people of color in second place on Billboard 100 is huge. It's really great to see. And
I'm a big Kendrick stan, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I enjoy Kendrick quite a lot.
I do too. Luther was written by Lamar, SZA, Inc., and Sam Dew, and produced by Soundwave, who is Mark Anthony Spears, a frequent collaborator of Kendrick's, not related to Britney Spears.
Wasn't on my mind, but thank you for clarifying.
Jack Antonoff, Rashawn Akers.
I forgot about that. Fucking Jack Antonoff's producing Kendrick now. I don't know how I feel about that.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. At least it's not like, because a while ago, everything was starting to sound the same Jack Antonoff sound.
100%.
And I didn't clock that he had produced Lamar's most recent album until I was like told about it. So I'll give him that. He seems to have moved away from only having one style of production.
Definitely.
And I love Jack Antonoff's band. They were a big part of my high school experience.
Aww.
So I'm more charitable towards him than I should be.
Well, they're still around, still touring.
That's true.
So the list of producers continues. There's Kamasi Washington, Matthew Bernard, and Rosalila. So on the production side, Rosalila is the only woman contributor. She is a renowned music producer and Grammy winner, known for her trap-heavy sound, and she's a relatively long-time collaborator of Kendrick's.
Oh, I should check her out. I like trap.
Yeah, and she's worked with other rappers like Glorilla, just as an example.
Like Glorilla.
And then the fifth on the list, we have Billie Eilish's Birds of a Feather. Eilish works closely with her brother Phineas, so as you can imagine, it's just the two of them that are the main contributors on this song. Phineas is the sole producer, but they both have songwriting credits. So
Did we skip over 3 and 4 there?
It was just men.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah, it was just men.
Just dudes.
So didn't
White
think it was
dudes?
no, I can't. Let me. Oh, I don't have Wi-Fi. Never mind.
It's okay.
Anyways, generally, this is a pretty good reflection on the majority of songs, not just the top 100 lists. The majority of top DSP playlists tend to feature more men than women and gender nonconforming artists. For example, looking at Spotify's New Music Friday playlist, and I checked it on Friday, which is when they update this playlist, there were 29 out of 100 tracks that featured women or were by women.
Wow.
And there were a lot of repeats too, so same artist featured multiple times.
Sure, Taylor, Olivia.
Exactly. Their top hits playlist, though, had 26 tracks out of 50 featuring or by women, which is pretty unusual, honestly, but really nice to see.
I would also be curious what amount of those that do include women, like women are primarily the vocalists rather than like
exactly
playing instruments or like producing or something, because I feel like that is a pretty common dynamic as well, where
Definitely.
like the sort of a valued more for like the higher voice than like a creative input sometimes.
Even on the songwriting side, it's not necessarily a fact that the woman vocalist or performer or like main artist is the one that wrote the song.
Exactly, yeah.
So
and a lot of the like pop hits that get sold and then performed by these girly pop stars are written by men.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a very weird industry when you dissect it like that. Anyways, before I go on my like little DSP tangent, I want to set the scene a bit more on how the top percentage of the industry runs and builds itself up. Are you familiar with the Recording Academy?
Yes.
Do you just like basic Recording Academy?
I know they're the voting body for the Grammys.
Yeah.
I know you need to be nominated by 2 current members to get in.
Yeah.
I know this because I know 2 current members. I'm scheming. Apart from that, I don't think I know much about like how it operates or what rules are involved or what the makeup is, which I assume is what you're going to get into.
Yeah,
here.
a little bit. So the Recording Academy is the world's leading society of music professionals and is the organization behind the Grammys, like you said. Their mission is to recognize excellence in the recording arts and sciences, cultivate the well-being of the music community, and ensure that music remains an indelible part of our culture. The Recording Academy was founded back in 1957, so it's been around for 62 years. Or no, longer than that now, 67?
Yeah, I think.
And
or 69.
I can't do math right now. It doesn't matter. Anyways, for a lot of time, they have been under quite a bit of pressure, like societal pressure, about who's on their board of directors, who is making all these calls and decisions, and just generally their lack of inclusivity when it came to the team behind the organization. Do you want to know when the first woman president of the Academy was nominated?
President?
Yeah.
This year?
Close. It was 2019. And do you want to guess how long she was the president for?
Given the way you're looking at me, I'm going to assume 1 year?
5 months.
What?
5 months.
How is that even possible?
I'll tell you.
What'd she do?
So the first
I support women's wrongs. I support crime in this instance. So if it's that, cool.
So the first woman president of the Academy was Deborah Dugan, appointed in 2019. So this is 62 years after the inception of the Academy.
Oh yeah, that would make Why can't I do that? Would make it 69 since this year, since the inception.
So she, as we stated, was president for 5 months before getting fired. Prior to her leave, the Recording Academy released a detailed report on recommendations for the Academy and the industry as a whole. In an interview with Variety, Deborah said, "The big takeaway from the report and our actions is restructuring the board, which hasn't happened in 62 years, and the transparency that's coming from the Recording Academy, the clear setting of goals and being accountable for those goals."
She flew too close to the sun.
The changes that must happen immediately to implement diversity and inclusivity at every committee. That goes to race, gender, genre, and even regions, so it's quite complex. So you are definitely right, and that was the response from a lot of people when they heard about the news of her being fired.
Yeah, go off, queen.
It was speculated that she was just like trying to change too much too fast, and that in turn obviously doesn't help the Recording Academy's publicity and motivation.
Who would be responsible for firing her? It would be the board.
It would be the board.
The people that she was seeking to restructure.
Yes, exactly.
Gonna get into the system and change it from within.
Yeah. So there obviously was a lot of conflict around her firing. There was a lot of back and forth finger pointing who done it. The Academy released a statement that she was accused of misconduct by a senior woman member of the Academy immediately after her termination. In response, Deborah did not hold back at all. She released a long statement accusing the Academy of major misogyny, accusing the previous president Partnow of rape.
Whoa, of her?
No.
Oh, God.
Of an assistant. The Academy's general counsel and former board chair, Joel Katz, of sexually harassing her, Deborah.
Joel Katz is a name I've heard before, and I think not in a good insinuation. And
she alleged that the Grammy nominating and voting process itself was rigged and corrupt, which the Recording Academy has denied, of course.
Well, yeah.
But yeah. So that the whole Portnoy situation, it reminds me, in 2018, he was president at the time of the Recording Academy and made the following statement.
Oh, no.
This was in response to a lot of conversation at the time of the lack of women nominees for the Grammys.
Okay.
So his statement, "It has to begin with women who have the creativity in their hearts and souls, who want to be musicians, who want to be engineers, producers, and want to be part of the industry on the executive level. They need to step up because I think they would be welcome."
I'm glad you think that.
Obviously, that received extreme backlash.
Wow.
And
there just aren't enough good women out there.
No, and just accusing women that are blaming them for not being included and nominated, despite so many women trying to break into the industry and receive that recognition.
Right. He could be sort of right that there is a bottom-up component to this in that, I don't know, I probably know more dudes who want to be audio engineers or producers than women, but that's also partially because it is such a fucked up part of the industry and such a fucked up industry.
Absolutely.
And it's very, very clearly I have heard horror stories from my female producer friends, not least of all about guys trying to fuck them who they're working with for production stuff. Is there probably a dearth of women who want to go into that part of the industry? Sure, it's certainly not 50-50. But, is that because it's unfucking welcoming? Yes.
Absolutely.
So that is quite the statement.
Yeah. He did later release an apology for not being as articulate as he should have been. So not even, really fully taking accountability for accusing women for the lack of
I'm sorry you women felt insulted by that.
Anyways, the point is the Academy's reputation with gender equality and holding up their values of inclusivity is not great.
Not great. No, not good.
Returning to the Grammys specifically, the biggest and most globally attended music awards ceremony.
I've heard of it.
No, I know, right? It's pretty big deal.
Pretty underground.
In 2026, only 15.4% of nominees were women.
Wow.
84.6 were men.
That's crazy.
It is truly insane. And do you want to guess what the highest percentage of women nominees has been over time?
You said last year was 15%? 20?
Close, yeah.
Wow.
24%.
I'm good at guessing.
In 2024.
Or I'm very pessimistic. Because I seem to keep underguessing and you're like, well, you were more pessimistic. I was going for a shock value thing.
No,
I'm like,
it's
no, I think the
we're
world's
just
terrible.
Exactly. We're just very aware of the amount of
Very
discrimination.
pessimistic.
And anyways, out of the winners too, it was less than 20% of which were winners in 2026.
Okay.
So it's clear there are still major issues with the nomination process and recognition of women, not to even mention trans folks in the industry.
That's because they're not mentioning it.
Exactly.
No one's mentioning it.
Exactly. They've
Were
tried.
there any at the Grammys? Like nominated, I mean?
I can't remember. There have been ongoing conversations, I know, on the acting side of things, of like opening up the categories and making them more gender inclusive.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't think there's that similar type of conversation being held on the music industry side.
Yeah. I was reading last night about the Canadian Screen Awards, which is like the Canadian Emmys and Oscars, is my understanding. And I think they don't have like a best male lead. I think it's like best lead in a drama or best lead in a, whatever, which is obviously stuck in my mind because it's interesting. It's very different from how we do things here.
Yeah. I feel like Canada in general, this is not part of my stuff, but I think they're much earlier to incorporate more gender inclusive language when it comes to ceremonies.
Yeah.
And but also,
we live
Canada, yeah, we live here. I'm a Canadian, I guess. This is why I'm like going on my little
Biased
tangent. Yeah. The government also just supports musicians and the arts more. There are grants that musicians can apply for.
Almost every government supports
Exactly.
musicians in the arts
and
more
the US
than the
does
US.
not do that. Anyways,
Why do we live here?
the Grammys and the Recording Academy, they've tried to improve the situation and clearly hasn't made much of a difference. But in 2019, for example, they initiated the Women in the Mix Pledge. The intention was that participants pledged to hire and work with women on new releases,
Okay.
whether it be a woman producer or engineer.
This seems to be that bottom-up kind of conversation.
Yeah. And there were 25 individuals across the 2021 Billboard Hot 100 year-end chart who took the Women in the Mix Pledge.
Okay.
Only 4 of them actually worked with women
You're
producers
fucking
and
with
5 with women engineers.
And I bet those overlapped.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's really depressing.
Wow. Yeah. Jeez.
And the last thing I can find about Women in the Mix is from 2024.
Oh, so it's just gone silent.
It's gone completely silent. I don't think they're encouraging this like pledge anymore. The last thing that I found was a Women in the Mix brunch and talk back during Grammy Week to recognize the impact of women in the music industry and openly address present day gender disparities.
In 2024.
Yeah. That's that. It's really depressing to think about. And
We're a fucking brunch.
yeah.
Or I'm a fucking brunch. You're not even in the conversation.
But like it does
wasn't
pertain
calling
to
you
just
one,
like I appreciate that. But no, but generally it just pertains to any marginalized communities when it comes to their representation, women being like the larger like umbrella.
Literally the largest.
Yeah.
Like we are technically not a minority.
Exactly. So
Oh, we need to kill all that. Sorry, I don't mean that.
not literally
Maybe.
yet, maybe. Anyways, to sum it up, the Recording Academy has been a long-standing perpetrator of promoting gender inequality industry, and unfortunately, they just make it very difficult to break down their long-standing system and open the doors to minorities. Now that we've discussed the like highest-ranking society of musicians,
Now that I'm sad.
I'm so sorry. It's only going to get worse.
Hey.
I think we should delve into something more on our level-ish, just more like user-focused, friendly, aka DSPs.
Hey.
And more specifically, Spotify, just because there's obviously a lot of conversation about Spotify as a platform and their disregard to paying artists a minimum wage and just a normal living wage for their streams. Not to mention they've demonetized any sort of tracks that are streamed less than 1,000 times.
Yeah.
It's like, anyways, they're not
Which just
building
seems
up
like
independent musicians.
It's not like you're paying them that much money.
No, it's under a cent. Anyway,
It's a third of a cent.
literally. You use, like, you're familiar with Spotify as a platform.
Unfortunately,
overall.
I am a Spotify user because I'm a bad person.
I mean, it's also just, I think, the most accessible service, like, pricing wise.
I know. I need to switch or something.
Yeah, but anyways.
Keep watching our podcast on Spotify, however,
know.
because we haven't set up Apple Music yet.
We're waiting to get approved. We'll be on there eventually.
Email me back. YouTube's a good morally neutral organism.
Yeah, right.
It's not like it's radicalizing fucking alt-right freaks. Oh my God. Sorry, continue.
Have you ever paid attention to the algorithmic and like editorial playlists that you get recommended on Spotify, like your Discover Weekly? And
to be honest with you, I very rarely click on them.
that's totally fine.
And when you have told me previously what I think you're about to tell me, I was kind of shocked to hear it.
Yeah.
So hit me.
Generally, just to kind of set the tone or the base level understanding of how Spotify runs as a system, they very heavily prioritize playlisting over albums, over singles. They basically, the first thing that you see when you search a song or anything, an artist, it will show you playlists over anything else. And the first thing that you see in your own like list tab, they will show playlists before songs or albums or anything. So they were like really pushing the playlisting platform. And unfortunately,
sorry, do we know why that, like, what do they benefit? Is there data indicating that like keeps people there longer or something? Or I don't know, what would the reason be?
Wonder, I'm sure there has to be some sort of data behind that of maintaining interest.
Yeah,
and just,
user
like, people,
hours. Yeah.
But it definitely doesn't help artists because if you're not recommending a full album and you're really focusing on playlist placement and choosing the right song to get playlisted and everything, it's very, very difficult for any artist below like the major label level of artists to find their audience.
Well, and it's kind of like optimizing for a specific type of song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's something else I'll talk about down the line, just how it kind of perpetuates pushing away from like the album structure, but whatever. Spotify playlists specifically perpetuate gender bias through their algorithm, which is not really surprising, especially knowing that so many more men are featured on like high standing like nominations for awards and just general coverage,
and that's
festivals.
Buzz, yeah. So people are listening to that
Exactly.
more already.
So let's dive into Spotify and their whole structure and system and all the fun bits.
I'm ready to dive.
So apart from being a platform that clearly does not prioritize paying artists, which we've discussed, but will promise Joe Rogan a $200 million contract to exclusively release his podcast on the platform.
This is how Joe Rogan came up.
Yes. Okay. Spotify was one of the first DSPs to break away from centering albums. Spotify is very playlist forward, as we were just talking about.
It's also, like, I imagine it's quite the dominant DSP.
Absolutely.
Like, user base-wise.
It is 100%. Like, the majority, it's Spotify, and YouTube is a big platform because they have YouTube Music now.
Right. I always underestimate YouTube.
Yeah. To specify, Spotify has two specific playlist types, editorial and algorithmic. Editorial are curated by editors. It's either a team or a single person curating a vibe. So there's a human element to it.
Okay.
And then algorithmic is purely an algorithm-based playlist.
Okay.
And you know how there was a point where they integrated those like daily vibe algorithmic playlists with
my
really
God, with
crazy
the stupid titles.
Yeah, titles. Fuck. So that's an example of one of those, including Discover Weekly and that stuff. Yes.
Do user-created playlists factor into this at all, or do they not? Like, could I hypothetically, I don't know, like Geese, make a lot of accounts that will put my song on their own playlist? Does that bump me up in the algorithm at all?
It should, yeah. Playlisting, any sort of playlist placement and engagement should theoretically bump your algorithm.
Right, but you're just talking about the ones that Spotify makes.
Yes.
Okay, continue, sorry.
Basically, both of these playlist types, Spotify will specifically tailor them to your consumption and what kind of music that you relate to the most and engage with the most.
Sure.
Generally, this has become an issue in gender bias because if someone is constantly listening to male-fronted bands, male artists, whatever it may be, and are not exposed, like intentionally choosing to expose themselves to women-fronted bands, gender non-conforming artists, queer artists, whatever it may be, the chances of Spotify intentionally showing them those artists is slim to zero. And there is a bunch of data behind it that I'll get into a little bit later. Or actually, no, I can get into it right now. Basically, looking at some numbers, Spotify has 44.3% female listeners, but only 23.1% of total streams are from female or mixed gender artists.
I'm
overall
curious why their listener base isn't just 50-50. That's strange.
I know.
Irrelevant,
Anyways,
but continue.
Women tend to stream about 31.9% from female and mixed gender artists, and men only stream 19.2%.
I was expecting that, yep.
Even there's a disparity because inherently men and just like male artists are more dominant genre-wise.
Right. This is kind of like the female, like if you in a piece of media have a female lead character, it's often just decided as being like for women, being marketed to women, being chick lit, whatever. And this is a theory that I picked up on the internet somewhere back in my formative Tumblr years, but like women or, you know, people who grow up outside of the gender, but like anything where you're just not a cis man, right? You sort of grow up having to like learn to see the world through a cis man's eyes for safety, and then also because stories are mainly told from that, and because a lot of your bosses or your, you know, authority figures in your life will be men. So you grow up having to identify with men in a lot of ways. Definitely. And men don't have to identify with women, or even less so like gender non-conforming people in the same way, because it's not a safety thing for them, and they're like you know, their bosses aren't all women, yada yada. And so it's like the sort of mental flexibility, I guess, like is different in who you can see yourself in.
Yeah.
It's like I can see myself in I was just listening to Fall Out Boy today and being like, yeah, man, we've all been there, huh, brother?
Exactly. Absolutely. This is a side note. I just remembered in line of like placing ourselves into other people's shoes and specifically being able to relate to men, even though we're not men. There's a new movie coming out called Ladies First, where it's like a flip. So women are the ones in charge, and it's like a very exaggerated telling of women's experiences, but
with men as that sounds interesting.
So I really want to see that.
Yeah, I would go. Nighthawk date?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. So Spotify, surprisingly, is aware that there is an issue when it comes to perpetuating kind of gender bias within their playlisting and just generally on the platform, and promoting just kind of underrepresentation of marginalized groups overall, POC, genderqueer folks. In 2022, Spotify CEO Daniel Ek pledged $100 million to develop and market content from groups that have historically been marginalized.
Hey.
Really, like, sounds good on paper.
Well, okay.
In reality, he refused to release a plan of action and actually tell people where this money is going to and what projects they're funding.
Yeah.
So that received a lot of backlash and coverage, and people literally just were asking for details on how they were going to incorporate that into Spotify's
that's
system.
Kind of, once you say you have a plan to do that,
Yeah.
I'd like to see the plan just out of curiosity in a friendly manner, and you're not showing me the plan.
And in a year's time, so in 2023, it was found that they had only spent about 10% of the promised pledge. And according to a report in Bloomberg, the initiative was behind schedule in hiring an 8-person staff to oversee the project and has suffered from shifting priorities.
What? Also, how is Spotify behind hiring 8 people? My God. Wow, okay.
In 2023, the budget had not been determined for this project any further. They're just making excuses of like, we're not hiring enough people, we don't have a team to represent this fund, and it's just kind of been an overarching issue of a lack of transparency. They've been trying to be better to their, what's the term?
Slight credit?
Yes, credit. Thank you. To their credit. They started releasing annual Spotify equity impact reports and sharing blog posts about various initiatives globally that they're funding.
Who's reading the Spotify?
Exactly.
Blog?
Recently, a lot of these like funds for equity were towards educating children and giving them opportunity to learn about the industry, which, okay, very cool on their part.
Nice
to have,
idea.
Yeah, open doors, but it seems
kind of
like a
lagging indicator.
misalignment on the actual goal and intention behind the fund.
Right, because like I made that bottom up point, but that's like part of the
Yeah.
thing. It shouldn't be your whole, because there are actual people who are already in the industry.
Exactly. Yeah. When it comes to like actionables towards the user experience and supporting marginalized creators, personally, something I think that can be incorporated is having a quota of a number of artists of marginalized communities, women, people of color, whatever quota they want to set, implementing that into playlists, especially editorial playlists, because it's curated by people. And obviously this can, like, there are nuances genre to genre, but it seems like an easy thing to help implement more gender diversity and just generally diversity on the platform.
It should be, but I also think sort of in today's day and age, businesses are kind of afraid of the concept of being seen to have a quota, because then you've got the fucking right-wing assholes who are in power right now being like, oh, you fucking shit lib or whatever, and then you've got people on the left being like, oh, we're just a quota, binders full of women, like what are we doing here? So it's like, it's just kind of a word with a lot of negative connotations at this point.
Absolutely.
But I agree there should be a target number or something, probably. I don't know. But like literally, or even in college admission stuff, like you remember all that discourse, like the idea of sort of aiming for a particular number and not just letting it ride seems to really rub people the wrong way.
Yeah, definitely. Anywho.
Which the music industry is not a meritocracy and has never been. So like, it's not like it's not like college admissions, right?
Yeah.
It's like, shut my mouth before I get into trouble.
No, it's all good.
Already
We're
threatened
fine.
to kill
We're
all men.
immune to everything, right? We're totally immune. Anywho, one of the other features that Spotify has is their Equal Hub. I don't know if you've seen it or familiar with it.
Never heard of this in my life.
Exactly. It's a section of the platform that highlights women's music, playlists, and podcasts.
I've literally never heard of this.
It was initiated in 2021. But if you don't know about it, you're not going to learn about it.
How the fuck can I find it? I've literally never seen this. Oh my God, Zoran's texting me.
Oh my God. I think if you go into the search,
I'm always like a couple app updates behind too.
So you have to like scroll.
It's all the way down at the bottom, and it's literally just titled Equal in all caps.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. It's below Spotify it's below self-help in these little fucking tiles that it's giving me.
Yeah.
It's below biography and memoir. Oh my God. It's right above mood. The concept of mood. Fuck me.
So the hub is recommended based on listeners' music preferences and whether the algorithm sees them as a potential listener.
Oh, so I guess it thinks I'm a misogynist.
So
okay, that's fine.
Basically, yeah, it implies unless the user had previously intentionally and actively listened to music by women, they wouldn't be recommended Equal playlists.
So it's targeting people who don't need it?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there's sort of some podcast stuff mixed in here too. That's interesting.
Yeah. So it's for music
Oprah.
and podcasts.
Gender equality. Oprah.
Just
this playlist here, for some reason, it started showing me the number of saves it has beneath it. These top two playlists under celebrating women through stories, 229 saves and 114 saves. This is Spotify.
Yeah.
Like, it should... The other fucking Spotify playlists have more saves than that.
Absolutely.
Then slightly over 100.
Yeah, it's really sad to look at. Within the Equal Hub, I think they've also been implementing like Pride-related playlists and stuff. So that's like sprinkled in there too. But
Shouldn't
also,
these be separate things?
I think they have a separate Pride section. But again, it's not something that they promote or you're aware of.
I don't see it in the tiles so far. I see fitness.
It might... Honestly, it might...
It's not June, technically.
I know, I was going to say, it might be a seasonal thing. They might just do it for June. Which is another thing I'm going to talk about, just like rainbow washing and how so many companies do that.
I have thoughts on that, but when we get there organically in your script.
The next section that I kind of want to touch on is the music business side of the industry. So unfortunately, the latest report I was able to find dedicated to studying and analyzing the demographics of the music industry is from Berkeley's 2019 report titled Women in the U.S. Music Industry, Obstacles and Opportunities.
2019?
Yeah.
I was about to say something like, oh, well, you know, federal funding for research got taken away, yada, yada. But that was like last year.
Yeah.
2019? Pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic.
That's basically a different era.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Sorry, continue.
Amongst 70 major and independent companies in the industry, women only made up 13.9% of top executive positions in 2019. And within a broader group of organizations across different industry categories, such as labels, publishing, live music, and streaming.
Merch production.
Women only take up 12.8% of top positions.
And I'm changing that.
Yes, one step at a time.
Girl boss.
So based on this alone, it's very clear there's disparity in representation on higher level of the corporate ladder. Alongside women, the LGBTQ plus community faces mistreatment in the industry, of course. Unfortunately, there's not much data or peer-reviewed content covering queer experiences and identities in the industry.
No, I bet a lot of people are fucking closeted.
Exactly. And it's important to note that within the US, only about 5% of the population openly identifies as like non-binary or trans. According to like
really,
figures.
I actually thought it was way lower than that.
Yeah,
I always thought it was like a percentage of not a percent, but like a fraction of a percentage. That was what I.
Yeah.
That was the stats when I was like in high school leading the GSA. But yeah, I was under the impression it was like less than 1. Okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, increasing, you know, societal acceptance.
Exactly.
It's like how lefties went up in percentage after we stopped fucking beating lefties.
Yeah. The majority definitely comes from younger generations and just generally the more openness when it comes to sexuality and gender from younger generations, Gen Z, Gen Alpha.
Good for them.
Yeah. So something that we were talking about when it came to like playlisting and the Equal Hub is, you know, it is only shown to people that already take initiative. Similarly, when it comes to the music industry, the business side of the industry, people who fall within an underrepresented group, so like women, BIPOC, queer people, they tend to work with people that align with them on their identity more, obviously.
Yeah, duh.
For example, 84.9% of women artists had at least one woman agent, manager, or publicist, compared to 70.8% of male artists who did not and just worked with men across the board.
70%?
Yep.
Wow.
And more than 80% of underrepresented artists had at least one BIPOC member on their team.
I'll tell you what, too. Women music managers they're fucking sharks. They will negotiate their asses off. Right?
Absolutely. With that in mind, it's kind of safe to make the connection that it similarly applies to queer people, queer artists, that they tend to work with queer managers, publicists, and other teams. Yeah.
Can you repeat the BIPOC point that you were saying before I butted in there? Because it didn't quite stick in my mind.
Oh, just that BIPOC people tend to work and include BIPOC team members.
Sure. Okay,
yeah. When it comes to analyzing the music business side of things, it's also important to differentiate between the independent sector and the major conglomerates, specifically Warner, Universal, Sony. Big three. So to this day, they make up the majority of the revenue earned within the industry as a whole.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Streaming platforms also obviously contribute massively to
the labels.
Yeah, to the labels. And
not to the artists.
It doesn't mean that the independent sector doesn't have an influence and say in the industry as a whole, obviously, but it just helps put into perspective like how much control and power these three companies have.
That's function. It's not like technically a monopoly, but it's like those three can fucking do anything. They could manipulate everything all sorts of ways.
To that point, it heavily relies on those three companies to take initiatives when it comes to diversity. And
you know what big corporations love is actual meaningful change.
Yeah, exactly. Let's dive into what they have been up to when it comes to diversity initiatives and funding and equal pay and all that fun stuff.
Diving in again.
Another dive.
3 levels down.
3 levels down.
Like a video game.
So HR Dive, a publication focusing on news and trend shaping.
You.
I know. I didn't mean for that to happen.
Unintentional.
Anyways, HR Dive A publication focusing on news and trends shaping human resources looked at Warner Music Group's environmental social governance report for 2021.
God, that must be such a boring magazine.
Probably.
I'm sorry,
but
HR Dev.
it is important
It's useful. It's
information.
useful. It's useful. Yeah.
And they noted their turnover disparities by gender. So 14% identified as male, 15 identified as female, and 19 identified as neither or didn't declare a gender.
Okay, that's kind of fuzzy data.
Yeah. So despite this,
Wait, this was people who were laid off?
Yes.
Okay.
So generally,
That's an even number, though, between the men and the women there. That's basically
14
even.
and 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bad.
So
That is not good. That is a large effect size.
Yeah. And Warner has been rated as one of the best places to work for when it comes to LGBTQ plus equality by the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equity Index, or CEI. None of the other major labels are listed in this index.
Okay, I was suspicious. That's why.
Which
there it is. Yeah.
is also really weird in itself because it means that they just don't meet the criteria.
Yeah, a lot of major companies are listed on that. It's like a low bar.
Is.
It's not impressive.
No, the criteria includes having a non-discrimination policy that protects gender identity and sexual orientation.
Don't you legally have to have that?
Right, and includes domestic partner benefits, trans-inclusive healthcare,
Okay.
LGBTQ competency and training, and a public commitment to the community.
The healthcare is what I imagine a sticking point would be for a lot
Yeah.
of companies, at least for smaller ones than the big three, because this is America and healthcare sucks.
Exactly.
But yeah, the rest of those are pretty much gimmies.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think, just like putting that into perspective, how actively these companies will rainbow wash during Pride and just push that in people's faces.
It's
but
like, can I get a domestic partnership policy?
exactly.
Jeez.
And clearly it takes more than that to promote any sort of inclusivity and diversity than just posting about it during Pride.
Rainbow, yeah.
Yeah.
Rainbow.
All employees deserve equitable treatment and benefits. It's like a non-negotiable. But anyways, additionally, a study...
Good for Warner, I guess. So
Right,
Continue.
yeah.
Low bar, but good job.
Additionally, a study from Berkeley, partnered with the Recording Academy and Arizona State University, found that gender-expansive professionals in the industry were less satisfied with their jobs than women by a 16% margin.
Oh, wow.
And felt less comfortable in their workplaces by a margin of almost 18%.
Wow.
Fun!
Then women, too.
Yeah.
Wow. That,
Yeah.
ooh, boy. I wonder how much less it is than men. Men got to be like, what, 90% or
Right?
something? Like, I can't imagine. No offense, boys.
Interestingly enough, in 2019, a Rolling Stone article was published criticizing Universal Music Group's lack of women representatives in leading senior positions within their United States frontline labels. So like Interscope, Republic Records, Capitol Music. Statistically, within the US, only 11.7% of executive roles were filled by women within labels, 22.2% in publishing, 7.1% in streaming.
Publishing, huh? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
and 6.7% in live music, according to a 2021 report.
I wonder why publishing is so much higher.
I wonder. Good question.
Yeah, it's 1 in 5 compared to 1 in 10 or 20
Yeah.
with the other ones.
In the last few years, Universal's definitely seem to be making steps in promoting equality within their leadership, but whether this will be an active trend that sticks is kind of
I mean,
uncertain.
These things I feel like tend to wax and wane with whoever's in office.
Yeah,
And
exactly. And remember how Warner Music was the only one listed on the thing? So
What?
in 2022, only in 2022, did Warner Music Group introduce their Global Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Institute, stating it's the first of its kind in the industry. It will focus on education initiatives and creating a critical forum to engage external expertise from a variety of perspectives.
I don't even know what that means. Like that's like how AI output sometimes like just seems it's words that refer to nothing. Like I can't picture what the fuck they could possibly mean by that.
Definitely. From my understanding and hope is that they will engage with third-party organizations that focus on promoting and just featuring women, gender minorities, whatever it may be, like She.SHE.THEY is an organization, Women in Music. I have like a whole list that I'll
Oh, okay. I should
go through.
I should check these out too.
There are a bunch of organizations within the US that specifically focus on promoting and supporting women, gender expansive folks,
Sure.
people of color.
So you
Yeah.
think this would be like working with them in whatever ways they already
theory.
work?
In theory.
The education thing kind of threw me for a loop. Like, who are we educating children again? Are we educating executives? Are we educating HR people? What are we doing?
I genuinely
The general
think
public?
it is educating their own teams, and
Could be worse.
it could be worse, but it's something I will talk about as well later, is just the lack of effectiveness when it comes to like diversity training versus mentorship programs. That should be more of a focus and priority for these companies, and just in general, just the benefits of mentorship programs outweigh any sort of diversity training, because it's just usually it's just forcing people to like sit in a seminar.
Oh yeah,
and,
diversity
like,
training sucks.
Yeah. Sony, they've recently partnered with GLAAD. And they aim to provide education for their teams as well as curate initiatives to advance LGBTQ advocacy and inclusion within the corporation.
I'm not mad at it.
Basically, the majors, they're trying to put in the effort, but they clearly have a lot of work still to do when it comes to actually hiring and promoting growth within the company for women and gender expansive folks.
Saying this very cynically, I feel like they're probably trying to look like they're putting in effort, and that
Yeah.
means that they're putting in some effort in the process of that.
Definitely.
But I don't know. Businesses, I don't trust them. I barely trust my own.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the gist with the majors. And when it comes to the independent sector, it's much more difficult to like categorize and get data because there are like hundreds of thousands of entities
Herding
in it.
cats, and they're all run by musicians who are
Exactly.
impossible to organize or get straight answers from.
But there are organizations that try to unite the independent sector, like the American Association of Independent Music, A2IM. I don't know if you're familiar
Yes,
with
that
them.
was the thing I sent you. A2IM is having some sort of conference on
Yeah.
the industry, and I was like, oh, that might be fun to cover for the podcast. And then I looked at the badges, and they were several $1,000s.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, well, that will not be happening.
No.
Although I wonder if you could get work to send you. It's professional development.
Maybe. I'll ask.
Yeah.
Stepping away from the data and stuff, just from a personal perspective and my experience of working in the industry, I worked purely in like the independent, like local sector, both in Montreal and New York. I worked at live music promoters. I worked at labels at a variety of levels and marketing agencies. And from my experience alone, I know there are strong efforts put in place to promote diversity and inclusivity and equality in the independent sector, at least within those fields. The live sector definitely needs to step up their game.
Woo!
And that's something I want to talk about with you when
Okay.
it comes to like the local scene and booking shows and whatnot.
I would wager a bet that maybe live sector aside, that the independent side of things has more women. Just
Definitely.
overall, I would put some money on that.
Definitely. At least from my experience alone.
Lower barrier to
Yeah.
entry.
Yeah. And a lot more, again, from what I had seen, women in leadership positions. So that was really refreshing to see, knowing how much of a disparity there is in the industry. Anyways, let's dive into our local scene.
Oh,
Let's
boy.
chat like just a little bit about the New York, Brooklyn, and if we want to talk about Jersey.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
We don't have to spend too much time on this, but I feel like we both are personally exposed to a lot of queer, femme bands and whatnot, and like we
Gravitate towards each other.
Yeah, definitely. But generally, when we look at billing for larger shows or like more heavy traffic nights, like Friday night, Saturday, whatever, it's very male centered and focused. And I just quickly looked at like some local venues as examples. Webster Hall, who weirdly have
Naming
like
names. Okay.
yeah, very absolutely.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
They have very limited shows on a monthly basis, and when you look at their calendar, you can very clearly see that. They have like 6 to 7 women headlining in the next 4 months. Then-
4 months.
Yeah.
So that'll be like how many shows? That's 120 days. They don't
Yeah.
have shows every day.
No.
Maybe
They-
60 shows.
Maybe. It looked like even less than that, like 30, 40 shows.
Okay, and then you said
there's
4 women.
6
6 women.
6 or
okay,
7.
wow.
Like,
Yeah, so like a fifth. All right.
yeah. They also this is just a personal note. They don't have like a pride event or anything happening in June, but they have like an anime rave happening.
Fuck.
And I just thought that was funny.
Dweeb pride. I say that as a dweeb.
Irving Plaza also has like 10 women-fronted bands or artists headlining in the next 6 months.
Wow.
Brooklyn Steel, who also don't have that many shows per year, have about 9 up until February 2027.
Like one a month.
Yeah.
Wow.
But looking at smaller local venues like Mercury Lounge, half of the first page of shows listed are women-fronted bands or artists.
I was about to say that I hate Mercury
I know.
Lounge,
I'm
so
not a fan of the venue.
It's just
but,
so
like,
badly shaped.
It is, yeah.
It's so bad. It's like I'm having flashbacks right now. But good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Similarly with Union
I won't be
Pool.
there, but good for them.
Yeah. Other local, like Brooklyn-specific venues, Union Pool, TVI, they also have like a very diverse billing situation and host pride events and generally like promote queer folks and hire them actively at their venues.
Yeah, I think we both know a lot of queer people who work in those sorts of venues.
But honestly, I think we've both booked shows locally, and personally,
I didn't even mean to make that noise.
personally, every venue that I've booked shows at, except for Purgatory, the bookers or the venue is owned by a man. And
Sure.
those men, the bookers especially, are long-standing bookers.
Okay.
So they have been like curating shows for years and years.
Yeah.
And it's just really, I don't know, telling in a way to see that they just don't prioritize diversifying the bands that they book.
Yeah.
And
they probably like don't even see it.
exactly. It's not something that I'm sure doesn't really cross their mind. New York in itself is a very competitive scene musically and job-wise and rent and everything.
In every aspect.
Every aspect. And it's incredibly difficult for DIY venues who historically were the spaces where queer and marginalized groups were able to put shows together and have community events at.
Sure. I can think of like 5 closed DIY spaces right now.
Exactly. And like I have only really witnessed Pet Rescue. I don't know if you've ever been to that venue.
The name is familiar, but I don't think I ever went, no.
But when I first moved to New York, that was like the only DIY venue I was familiar with. And then they closed like 2-3 years ago.
It's tough to keep up DIY.
Yeah.
I think New York exacerbates this certainly, but I think to a certain extent DIY venues kind of pop up and close and pop up and close.
But do you have anything to add from your personal experiences when it comes to bookings and like stuff that you've gone through?
For context, Lady Killer occasionally books shows as like a promotional thing. I despise booking. I enjoy almost all other aspects of event production. I can't stand finding the actual people. That said, I'm thinking back to like the most recent places we've worked with have been Alphaville and Arlene's, both of whom have male bookers, at least that I've interacted with, but also that I know have women in other significant places on staff. And those I think are both also venues that are very eager to be like inclusive and to like work with us on that, and that, have pride events, yada, yada. In some cases, I think it's difficult to keep track of who owns what, because that doesn't necessarily, like, that is legally public information, but it's not necessarily something that we think about. I'm not surprised. Like, I would not be surprised to hear that most venues are owned by old white men.
Yeah, definitely.
Having met a couple of those, like that tracks to me. Venues are also just kind of on balance like a money pit from a business perspective. Like, no one will ever advise you financially to open a venue or a bar or a restaurant. Maybe bar more so, but like restaurants and venues, huge money pit. And like, I as a business prospect, right, would not ever open one. If you're opening one, it's for the love of the game, and it's because you have extra money. Yeah. Basically. So it's like we're already operating from a standpoint of financial privilege here. I do remember, I won't say who it was because then I really will get in trouble. So a friend of mine put me in touch with the owners of this venue, and we were emailing back and forth, and we set up a phone call between me and one of the owners, both of the owners, I think, actually. And I got on the phone call, and one of them was like, "Oh, Steph, do you work for the friend that directed you to us?" And I was like, no, I'm the person you've been talking with about my company booking a show at your thing. Like, I don't even know how you could possibly have extracted that from our email exchange. And, you know, then he was perfectly nice and like, you know, certainly I would not say like he didn't treat me as an equal or any, like I would, you know,
Yeah.
no objections to working with that venue otherwise. It just, I will say, I got off that phone call and I called the friend who had connected us and I was just fuming. And I was
Yeah.
like, these guys thought I was a fucking secretary. They thought I was your fucking secretary. I'm gonna goddamn, like, I was furious
Yeah.
because I also, despite being largely in male dominated spaces, I don't actually get that very often. So I was fucking fuming. And my friend was like, you know, I'm sure they didn't mean any harm by it. I'm like, I know it's not malicious. That's kind of pissing me off more almost because like you hear a woman's voice and you're like, oh, do you work for my friend? I'm like, whoo, like it really got me going. There have been a couple other instances where I've felt like someone, maybe a prospective client or something, was trying to sort of like take advantage of us financially or like pushing on something in a way that they wouldn't with a man. But overall, I think my brain kind of skims over those things and my reaction tends to be like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, and people tend to leave it at that. On the business side of things, I think the social side of things is its whole own kettle of fish because there is so much. We've discussed doing a different episode about this. There's so much like power dynamic differential. There's so many creepy old industry dudes trying to fuck like 22-year-olds and like, you know, making them all sorts of promises, fucking like luring people places. Let's be fucking real. Like there's a lot of assault happening. There's a lot of, you know, alcohol is the most common date rape drug. There's a lot of drinking. There's a lot of, like I said, favors. It's very pervasive to an extent where I'm like, I don't even know if I'm fully aware of how much it does happen to me. Because again, I'm kind of like, la-di-da-di-da. You know, I have been known to not realize people are like drunk or high because I was just like, oh, this person must just be acting weird. I take things at face value a lot of the time. And like, there's so many sleazebags out there. And that's what, when we're talking about gender equality, that's a lot of what is keeping people, like keeping women and queer people out of like production and stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Because as I said, like I have friends who have been propositioned for an affair by like men that they were working with in production. I myself have had some entanglement. Like it's all, you know, it's very normalized.
Yeah.
And it's particularly like young women that bear the brunt of that because that is, of course, who predators target. And it becomes like a fairly dangerous environment for women. And it's like, well, you know, of course, there are going to be fewer women who want to go into that field.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I don't know, that's kind of my rant. That got very windy towards the end there, but I hope
good.
you can edit it into something coherent.
Thank you for sharing that. No. I want to wrap things up with just a few concluding remarks on the things that we talked about, and more so, I guess, recommendations on what things can do, like actionables that would help fight back or just promote inclusivity and diversity in their own independent scenes, in their own lives. First of all, just build each other up. Work with people that you know are underrepresented. If you are a woman, if you are queer, work with other queer people. Host events, build your community up, and by working together, we will be able to push back and make a difference eventually, even if it doesn't seem like it. I know this was like a very pessimistic episode.
I particularly brought it down towards the end there. I'm like, rape happens.
In reality, though, if we do continue to build each other up and work with one another, and those who do know have a louder voice and louder presence in the industry, especially if you speak out on the issue and intentionally work with people that are underrepresented, it will make a difference.
I'd like to add on to that, white people,
Yeah,
especially should be, you know, trying to like hire people of color, work with people of color
100%.
in rock, especially. Like there are many shows I've been to where you can look around and it's like an all white audience to the extent where
Yeah.
you're like, oh, hey, there's like one person standing out here.
Yeah.
It's really kind of a fucking nightmare. I would love for the rock scene to be changing faster on that.
Definitely. The other thing, and this is kind of more of a general into the void recommendation, wish when it comes to like the business side of the industry is funding mentorship programs. They really do make a difference when it comes to educating marginalized groups, but also just creating a support system. Back to my numbers. It's been found that employees that participate in mentorship programs, they're 5 times more likely to advance in pay grade and more likely to be promoted. And overall retention rates at the
5
company are
times.
higher.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So mentorship, when it comes to queer folks, women, if companies spent more funding in creating programs where higher level executives can mentor younger people, or even just there are like third-party mentorship organizations that are unfortunately paid to participate, please.
There is a government so actually you keep talking
Yes.
while I look this up because I don't remember the acronym.
Cool. But yeah, if there are third-party mentorship programs that people can pay to be a part of, but if those just were more accessible to more people within the music industry, it would make a substantial difference when it comes to educating others and providing more equal opportunities for minorities and marginalized groups. But yeah.
This is specifically a business owner thing, but if you are a business owner, there is a mentorship organization that's sponsored by the government called SCORE, which stands for something Corps of Retired Executives. And, retired executives, you get matched up with someone. I think you can request like a woman or a queer person or like someone who at least is knowledgeable
Yeah.
about that. And they have people who can help you with almost any step of like the business, life cycle. I had one who I should really call. She was very helpful, and it's great to have sort of a mentor figure because I don't particularly, as like a woman in the music industry. Yeah, it's great to have that, and also just in sort of an advisory capacity. And these are also people who like really do give a shit because they are fucking volunteering their time, which I think paid mentorship, like if you are paying for it, like I think that can go sketchy really fast. Like, of course, in some circumstances with some people, it makes more sense. But like overall, I really recommend SCORE. It's a great program. I've had a positive experience with it. Again, for business owners, if that describes you, definitely that is a resource you can turn to.
Sick. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that concludes Gender Inequality in the Music Industry, or surface level edition.
Yeah, that you started really, really
Yeah.
big with the whole world, and then
Yeah.
we sort of worked our way down to the local scene level, which was a very interesting and a good structure for an episode. But it's also, yeah, like you say, it's a huge topic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we could probably have an episode just of us bitching about gender equality in the local scene.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't even have to script it.
No. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This has been Bushwick Famous. I'm Jan.
I'm Steph. See you next time.
See you next time.